Was geht, Leute? Willkommen zu einem neuen Video bei Airsoft. Mein Name ist Tobi und wir sind wieder auf der IWA 2025 und heute haben wir einen ganz besonderen Gast hier. Das ist der Rob von Airsofter World und der wird uns heute einiges über die Plattform Airsofter World erzählen. Der Rob kommt ursprünglich aus Belgien und wohnt jetzt in Schweden, ergo spricht er nicht so wirklich Deutsch, deswegen wechseln wir jetzt ins Englische. Da müsst ihr eure lang vergessenen Schulstunden wieder befleißigen. How about we start off by you telling us a little bit about yourself? Like, who are you? How did you get into Airsoft? What's your deal, basically?
So my name is Rob, and I started playing Airsoft in 2006 in Belgium. And I have been loving it ever since. I've been always active in every aspect of the Airsoft community. I've been active in associations, organizing games, going to games, starting up a team, going international games. Basically everything that you can imagine into Airsoft, I try to be a part of because I just love doing it. And now we moved to Sweden last year, and now I'm doing even more because I stopped doing my regular job and now I'm going full into Airsoft, organizing games, and again, everything that is part of Airsoft.
Yeah, well, let's move on to the next point immediately, which is the obvious question: what is Airsofter World?
So Airsofter World is something that when I started playing Airsoft, there was nothing that was pointing people in a certain direction. You have to imagine this is pre-social media. There was pre-Facebook, there was no stuff like that. Well, I think it was coming up a little bit.
So like the medieval ages. Yes, basically. So it started off as a platform for events, and then it started transitioning, and then in 2020 we were like, well, why not answer all the questions from other countries that ask for, like, hey, we also want a platform to use. And we went global with my platform, and then we connected with another platform was doing the same thing. And Airsofter World is basically not one platform for each country to have events on, but instead of that, working together as a community internationally and bringing everything that is anything Airsoft related, bringing into one, so people can actually find the information. Because we all know that finding information right now in Airsoft, it's not easy, because it's everywhere. So it's supposed to be like a global Airsoft hub online?
Yes, you can basically say it's a Airsoft United, which was my platform in Belgium, was more database oriented. Everything was there, people could add information, it was community driven, and Airsofter World was more a social database event platform. So by combining the database and the social thing, you created a massive database platform where people can make accounts, have friends, make their team, and start spreading the Airsoft things that they do.
Yes, the concept is not alien to us because we have something in Germany that is quite similar. It's called the Airsoft Verzeichnis. You may have heard of it.
Yes.
The question, of course, becomes what are the advantages that Airsofter World has over something like the ASVZ?
I think the biggest advantage is that it is one thing, and I have a long list of platforms around the world that does similar things. So my thing that I did was I tried to connect with all those people. I tried to reach out to every platform that was out there, for example, my Belgian platform. And having, instead of 20, 30, 50 different platforms that do the same thing, why not make one good one that we can keep up to date, that we don't have one person or a few people trying to keep alive because they're doing it on the side as a side job. If those people stop, the platform just dies, and that is what's happening all around the world. The motivated person just stops working on it, and then a community dies. And with Airsofter World, it is a community from communities around the world that are assisting each other wherever they need. We also need one budget to create it, because they basically make all the same platform, just in a different language. And that's nowadays with AI, it's easily translated, and that's also Airsofter World is translated to English. I looked at the platform, the German one, the green one. I just remembered as a green one, and it does.
Well, that pretty much sums it up.
And it has the basic things. It has events. It has people can connect. There are shops there. The information is there. It's just how you update the information. That I don't really know how the German one works,
But with Airsofter World, the biggest difference is its automation. If I, as an organizer, I add an event to it, it shows my location that I'm organizing. I have to add the location once. It doesn't need to be one person adding the location in there for the whole world. It's everybody does a little bit. If I organize on a new field, I add the field. It also automatically, the system automatically knows that, oh, this is an active field. Because the older platform, they just have a list of locations. There is no up-to-date pictures, there's no, if not one person updates that picture. With Airsofter World, it's automatically because the system knows, oh, there has been an event, this field is active. If you didn't have an event on a certain field, it just suddenly it will show inactive. And you don't have to do anything, it works in the background.
So it's a more modern approach to the site versus the old, I guess, HTML format that Airsoft Verzeichnis uses, for instance.
Yes, and that is what a lot of people can build something like a calendar, and they can build something. Keeping it up to date, keeping it running, that's the hard part. And that's where Airsofter World excels, because we don't have to do a lot. We just have to show you how it works, and then everything keeps rolling. Players find information. We have a whole, but that might be a big difference because you only have Germany in the green one. I'm just going to call it the green one. We have the world. So if we want to bring Germans to, for example, the Netherlands or Poland or another country, we have communication with those associations that give us information about the laws in their country. So we can give you that information as a German person if you live close to the Netherlands or something. What are the laws in that country to go to? And that makes it difficult if you are a German person to find that information. And we work together with the associations as a massive base of information, of data that we just show the player and automatically fill into events. Me as an organizer, I can add an event and automatically, in the short future, we're working on the data of the associations. It will automatically give you all the rules and regulations for Sweden if you as a German player wants to come to Sweden to play. Same with the Netherlands, same with Poland. And that again makes a big difference because you don't need to search it anymore. We work together with associations, that big base that I was talking about, the background of everything, the community. Those are feeding information. Airsofter World is just showing it in the way that you want to find it as a player.
So is Airsofter World corporatized? Like, have you set up like a proper LLC for it?
Yes, so Airsofter World is a company that is, the seat of the company is in Poland, so it is in the European Union, also because of the European laws. That is very important, that it is a company and it's not a non-profit organization. We need to make money to keep existing. And the money is coming from different sources, and I can give you a lot more information about that if you want that. But yes, it is a company. It's not just a person having an ID, making it in his backyard, garage, shed, and putting it online.
Yeah, that is a major difference to like the Airsoft Verzeichnis, because I believe the Airsoft Verzeichnis is purely a community-owned, community-maintained platform, and not a like corporate-run one.
And that makes a big difference because we need to keep our business alive, and that it's not depending on a person or a small group of people doing it. Well, yes, it is a company run by a few people, but it is a company. We have to do certain things to keep the company alive and keep it up to date to be able to be relevant in the airsoft community.
That is certainly an edge over the I guess aging community that just maintains a site for the sake of maintaining it.
Yes, exactly. And I know German people, they like their language. And Airsofter World, because it was originally in Ukraine, we had to try to find a solution, a simple solution, because our budget is not that big. We had to try to find a solution, and the easy solution for making it international is just translating it to English. Now, that means that if you post anything, it will be translated outside of your country into English. So for the German people, if you want to post something in German, it will be in German for all German people. But for me, as a Swede or a Belgian, whatever you want to call me, it will be translated in English. So if I want to find an event in Germany, I don't have to learn my German. It's going to be automatically translated into English.
That is certainly a good thing for international cooperation.
Yes.
especially since Germany is like legally not exactly welcoming to foreign airsoft players.
So Airsofter World is not only the platform, it's a passion for me to combine communities. So we're also working together on a legal level. So we're building the EAF, the European Airsoft Federation, and that will make things easier to communicate. For example, is it the VDB in Germany?
Yes, the Verband Deutscher Büchsenmacher.
Yes, so they also now have a small airsoft part in that real arm.
Yes, they have slowly been expanding into the airsoft sector in past years.
And we actually are communicating with them in the European Airsoft Federation, with the Airsofter World community and associations. And they actually supported the other countries that were having questions about what do I do if I need to drive through Germany? What do I need to bring? What documents do I need to make? So they actually made documents to send out to all the communities, all the people that we are communicating with on the Airsofter World level. So yes, it is a platform for the players. But again, it's that big base of information, that big base of information to players from communities, from associations, from the legislations that is going to be used all around the airsoft communities.
I see. Okay, so what are the current features of Airsofter World?
I want to say there was a lot of features, but we're focusing at the moment at events, because that is where the biggest ask is from where we can invest the funding that we have. We need to pick one of the features. So events is, of course, you will find events, you can filter on events, there's a lot of opportunities on events. You can add your Airsoft profile, you can add your team, you can link your people to your team, you can have a page, you can make blog posts, because we all know that social media doesn't really like Airsoft as much.
Looking at you, YouTube, TikTok.
And what we do with Airsoft is easy to be banned, because the bigger corporations, they just say, oh, it looks like a gun, it's going to be a gun, we're just going to ban that. With this platform, we can be very specifically directly to a country. For example, Belgium not allowed to sell any guns online. But on our marketplace that we're building, we can just geolock it, that the Belgians are not allowed to sell guns online, but the Germans are allowed to do it, for example. I don't know the German legislation, and it doesn't really matter at the moment, but this is something that we can target specifically for a country, and we can be like, oh, you're not allowed to do this. For example, Germans, you're not allowed to have lights on your gun. So if we see pictures with lights on guns and it's located in Germany, we can focus on specific things. Bigger companies, they don't care, because Airsoft is too small. But because we're building this specifically for Airsoft, we can go a lot more in detail, which means that everything that you post there will be correct and will be staying there, and not be like, oh, we're going to ban it because it's easy for us to ban it. And I think that is a very big feature on what we do.
So like regionally targeted moderation.
Yes, exactly. And because we're working together with the community, with the associations, they're helping us to maintain that community, because on a legal level, that's what they're there for.
Well, that's a good way to stay out of trouble.
Yes.
So I have heard something about a leaderboard. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So it's an interesting, fun thing. Every time you go to an Airsoft event and you use the registration system on Airsofter World, you get points. And depending on the event that you go to, you will get more or less points. So if it's a training, you will get like 10 points. If you come from a different region where the event is located, you get 5 extra points, just because you do the effort to travel a little bit further. If the event is longer, you will have, it's going to double in points. If the event is a whole day, you will have, it's going to triple. So it can be that you, instead of 10 points, it's an event of 120 points. So what we do with the leaderboard, it's not showing who's the best player. It's not showing, I'm the most famous one, because there is no algorithm behind it. It's just the more you play, the more points you get. And at the end of the year, we have a nice ranking. And last year, I think Paradox Tactical, they send out 5 packages to German players. The first 5 players in that ranking got a mystery package. It's just a fun little thing that drives a little bit of competition between airsofters while not being on the field.
So it's a very competitive form of crowd engagement.
Yes. It's just a fun little thing. And now in Sweden, there are people actually like, I'm always going to you with an event. But at some point, we need to calculate the points in a certain way. And in the end, you're always going to end up like alphabetically. Because yes, you can calculate the points that you have during 2025. And then if that is equal, you go to how many total points do you have in the world. But now we have two people that have the exact same points for everything. They go to the same events. They always come together. And now they're like, okay, I'm just going to forget you one day. So I'm going to be in the lead. And then you're never going to be able to get back to me. So and that's what I want to have, like fun interactions with people, because Airsoft is a social sport. And it's not only on the field. People need to have something to go offline and just browse and share their stuff that they have been doing.
So are any big like German event companies already registered with you?
Sadly, no. We have Deep Silver, who has been promoting the platform. He's doing games in Belgium and France. I don't know if he does events in Germany, but we can use a lot more, yes.
Well, in that case, I would suggest you talk to Massive Events and Airsoft Helden, who are also here.
I contacted them, and Airsoft Helden has their own app where they put events on. And for me, I can keep going to the same people. Like, hey, it would be nice if everybody could find your events on there. But who am I as a Airsofter, as one person? I know it's like my company, but it would be nice if more people go to their organizer and be like, hey, why don't we have one platform for everything? Like, this is amazing. Why don't we support this instead of everybody doing his own thing?
Das wäre dann euer Job, Leute, ne?
Exactly. It's a community-driven thing. I can do a lot of stuff, but I need a lot of support of people that believe that this is the future of where we will be able to go. Because we don't know what they're going to ban next. And Airsoft is a very specific, a lot of gray area hobby, sport, or whatever you want to call it. And because we are working towards a more closed, community-driven thing, we will be able to do more with the EAF, with the European Airsoft Federation, communities, the associations, the federations. There are a lot of countries that are now building a federation to recognize Airsoft as a sport. And, for example, Romania is one of the first countries that has a recognized status for their country as a sports federation. And the next thing is then, if you're a sports federation, you need a competition. So why wait building a competition? Airsofter World is building their own international competition. Because we have the connections, we have the experience as a player, as an organizer. We have connections with the associations, the federations, the organizers. So we are in the perfect position to build an international competition that is built for the community. So we're actually doing that. So yes, we are looking for a German organizer that wants to join this.
Yes, I would say that's a very important message because, well, we don't really do politics on this channel, but I will say that, like, legally across Europe, the news around Airsoft is getting tighter as it's getting more into the spotlight. So I think we have, as a community, we have to acquire certain legal protections before it's too late.
Yes, but yes, I totally agree. On the legal level, we need to do something. As if it was a small thing that nobody cares about, we might be forgotten. For example, what happened in Canada, they just started banning every replica that looked like a gun, and they didn't.
What happened with that anyway?
We got an election and it was not approved or something, so it's not. They're not safe. It might come back, but they're safe now.
So for now, Dayton is not out of the job.
No. They can still do what they do, I think. I don't think there was a lot of change. But that happened because the government didn't know about Airsoft. There was nobody to fight for Airsoft.
Well, I would say the Australians are a cautionary tale here.
I've been in contact with the Australians, and I think New Zealand, they're allowed. But in Australia, they're not. And we are talking with them, and they are actually in our community group. Because they are doing gel ball. And we are allowing them to add their gel ball community on the platform as the only country, because as soon as they be able to fight to have Airsoft legalized again, that whole gel ball community, or a lot of the gel ball community, they will jump into Airsoft. So then we have everything ready for all the Airsofters to join the community and be part of Airsofter World.
Yes, that is certainly a very good plan. I really hope that our friends down under can rejoin us soon into slinging plastic or biodegradable stuff. Sorry. Okay, let's move on before we get lost in this whole politics conversation. Do you have any features that you have planned for Airsofter World that are not yet implemented?
I have a lot of features planned.
What's your top 5?
Ooh, my top 5 of features that I want to implement. I want to standardize events. That is a very big one. I don't mean standardized events, they need to be the same. I want people to find what they're looking for, because expectation is not the same for the organizer as for the player. So that is an implementation that I want. I want you as a player to find exactly what you're looking for. And now everybody's calling their games milsim. But what is milsim? I want that to be standardized. I want it to be defined. If you go to an event, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be 80% milsim. But then milsim needs to be defined in a certain way on an international level. So that is not that difficult feature. It's going to be a lot of communication on what the stuff is. And so is it a feature? I think it's going to be a feature in the future, an important one. But it shows that it's not only software, it's about that community bonding feature.
So there would be like a filter when you search for events where you're like, oh, I only want to play milsim, or I only want to play pickup games, stuff like that.
That is already there, but I want to go even further. I only want to go to day games. I want to go to only night games. I want to... there's so much filter options that you can add in there. But if I want to pick a feature that we're working on, well, the app, because we have an app, but Google didn't like it and they took it down.
Shame on you, Google.
So the app is the main priority of 2025, so people can get back on their phone, because we have everything. We need to do some more smaller changes that need some funding, and that's why I'm here at Iowa, to talk to companies and bring them into that community and help us fund the app. And the app will have more features where organizers will be able to scan QR codes, to have automatically registration systems, the app will do a lot of stuff as a big feature, if you want to call it a feature.
Okay. So what are some areas you would say that Airsofter World is lacking in right now? Like, what are your major obstacles right now that you need to overcome?
There's one main obstacle, and it's a chicken and egg story. You need players for organizers to use it. You need events for players to be interested into it. And organizers are not using it because there's not a lot of players, and players are complaining that they need to make an account for the platform. So it's like, it needs to be a balance that going slowly up, and then you have the manufacturers, because they don't want to invest in something where there's not a lot of players in. But the players are not joining because there's no events on it. And I don't know which part I need to start doing. So instead of waiting, I'm now organizing games myself in Sweden, and we tripled the amount of users in a few months, just because I showed people like, hey, this works. So as soon as there are a few organizers that are using it, there's a lot of people watching this, but they're like, am I going to be a part of this? Is this really, or is it just the next platform that is trying to be different? Well, this is going to be the future of Airsoft around the world, because we're going to work together. We are already working together. We are 30 countries communicating on a monthly level. We are associations, federation. This has never been done before on this level.
Yeah, but it's in the long term, it's what we need to survive. So,
yes,
exactly. Power to the people.
And exactly that, and that's what I want to say. It's a chicken and egg story, and just make an account on it. Start sharing your information. The analytics will go up. That means that we'll have more funding to implement new features that people are asking us. It will give us the funding for an app to get that back up online and stuff.
I guess what you could also do is like add in a guest feature, like that you can just log onto the site and I guess lurk without having to make an account. And then when people like it and want to post something, they can make an account.
You can already just go onto the website and find stuff, but it's not going to be
specifically for you. Because we have games in Sweden, Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine still has Airsoft games.
Well, those might get confusing.
There is games everywhere, so it's not going to be tailored to your country if you don't have an account. Because as soon as you have an account, the calendar will be a lot more information. Now you're just going to have a list of all the events around the world. But as soon as you have an account and you have your country and region set, you're going to see, you will be able to filter on your region, your country, or the world, and then you will be able to see the calendar where you can filter on type of event, the world, the country that the events are in, the type of event. So it opens up a lot more features than just the guest feature, because we can take your data from where you're surfing, but we want to stay away from all that data stuff that is coming in from people, and people need to just make an account.
That's a good segue into the next question, actually, because a lot of people would be concerned about data security, especially here in Germany. So how is that handled? Where's the data saved? How is that handled?
So our data is in Poland. The company is in Poland, and because that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have it in EU, because EU has their GDPR privacy regulations. So every company needs to fulfill those GDPR regulations. So there is no problem of, for example, if it should have been in Ukraine, they are not following the EU regulation privacy-wise, I think. I don't really know, but I don't think they do. So they don't have to, so why would you? But because it is in Poland, we have to follow every EU regulation that there is according to privacy stuff. It was not a part of the question that you asked, right? But I forgot. What was the first part?
Let me check again. The first part is just
the data.
Yeah, like where's it saved? Like how much of that is stored? You know.
I want to add to that, and that's why I don't want to track your location, because I don't want to use that location. I want to use location that you added to the platform and use that location that is on your profile. I don't want to track your phone and see where your phone is to be able to transmit the right language to your phone. I know it's convenient, but I feel that we are a little bit giving away our privacy for convenience, and that's why we try to stay away from every big company like Google, Facebook, Meta, and try to build something that they cannot take away from us. Yes, we use Google Translate in a way, but that's also why if we add a country, we always need to communicate with that community, and they need to send us a list of cities and regions. We're not using Google, because if we use Google and suddenly Google says like, oh no, you're not allowed to use this on a gun-related website, then we lose everything that we build on. So instead, we do a lot more work and we build it ourselves.
So it's a bit more manual labor in exchange for a lot more privacy.
Yes, exactly, yes.
In all the essence.
Yeah.
So is Airsofter World just limited to Europe at this point, or have you expanded beyond Europe into Asia or America also? I mean, you've mentioned Australia before, but like...
It's like it says in the name, it's Airsofter.world. It's a worldwide platform. Now the regulations and stuff with the EAF and European Airsoft Federation, that is specifically for Europe. But we have, I think America is the third biggest country of users on Airsofter World.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, because obviously it's a European company, so the top users are going to be European, especially, I'm guessing the top country is Sweden?
Ukraine.
Ukraine.
There's about...
You would think they'd have other things to worry about right now, but okay.
Ukraine is a very big country, and you basically have to see it as if there was something happening in the southern part of France, Belgium would still live their life.
Fair enough.
And that's the same with Airsoft. It's like Poland also has a different culture with military, which we in the Western world, we don't have that much culture with military. We want to stay away from it. Well, they're more embracing it to be prepared, for example, without going too much in political stuff. But there is a big difference in countries, yes, in how they embrace certain cultures.
Yeah. All right. I think that just about concludes our list. Is there anything you would like to say as a conclusion, as a message to our 37,000 subscribers right now?
So I would say just make an account on Airsofter World and start trying and using it. Go to your organizer and tell him to start putting their events on it. And if they have any questions, just contact us.
and we will gladly help you and explain as much as possible on how to grow onto Airsofter World. But start using it, that's the main thing. If you start using it, we can keep building it. Wow, that was a good slogan to end off with.
All right, thank you for this interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, okay Jungs, ihr habt's gehört. Checkt out Airsofter World, Link ist in der Beschreibung. Niklas, denkt dran, den Link in die Beschreibung zu packen. Das war's dann auch mit diesem Video. Liken, teilen, kommentieren, abonnieren. Ihr wisst Bescheid, was ihr alles tun müsst. Ich bin raus, ciao.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning.